All right, everybody, welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, episode 29, aka our 140th show. Andy, I'm just going to start it off right.
Paul, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Well
you.
done.
Thank
From
you.
where this season started for you with Barcelona to how it ended, what a story this must be. So go ahead, tell us how it unfolded, especially for El Clásico to cinch the deal. This is probably going to be, I don't know if it's going to be like a Clásico, but this is going to be a fondly looked at Clásico, I think, for years to come. But lay it on us, man.
I mean, this is one of the most historic Clásicos of all time, and for many different reasons. So Barcelona ended up winning 2-0. And it started early. I mean, it was actually a Rashford free kick in the 9th minute. And ball got played into Ferran Torres, and Rudiger took him down just outside the box. So it was off a little bit off to the right of the goal, so fit a righty's kind of shot pretty perfectly. And I don't know if you saw the video I sent you. I watched a lot of videos after this game, but one of them was Ferran.
As you do. That's how you celebrate, for sure.
Yeah. Ferran and Rashi did an interview with ESPN FC after the game, and is his name Stu Holden? I don't. Yeah, that's sticking in my brain.
Sounds familiar.
Where he was asking Rashford, like, when I was sitting pitch side, it looked like you were actually lining up to cross it to start. And Rashford said he was. And Ferran and Pedri actually went over to him and told him, no, you have to shoot. And Rashford was laughing about it because he's like, in training the day before, I made 0 free kicks.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah. So that he didn't have a lot of confidence, but he's like, when Ferran and Pedri came over and told me I needed to shoot, I built my confidence back up. And it was this beautiful top bins curler,
perfect,
just outside of the reach of Courtois, not over the wall, actually on the same side Courtois was on, but it was just such a good shot from so close. You couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. And he got the side netting on it, which is incredible. Like thinking about that from where his angle was, because he was like on the far right side, outside like the near post. So curling that in from that angle, just wow. That was That's the Rashford I remember.
Yeah. And interestingly, the last time a free kick goal was scored in an El Clásico was 14 years ago, Andy. In 2012. Can you guess who scored that free kick goal?
Oh, I know. It's Leo Messi. I was also watching some of the videos as well.
Yeah, some of the same videos, yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's a great time to be, because I mean, like, that's how you celebrate. You watch all the goals again, you see the goals again, and you find the other stats to kind of put it in comparison. So yeah, that puts it in comparison where sometimes you don't see free kick goals all that often. So when they do hit, they're very special. To do it in El Clásico is even more special. So wow, and then to do it to basically win the
winner
league
too.
Yeah. So like you can't ask for anything better than that.
Nope. Yeah, and then the second goal was something special too. So Barcelona kept possession, I think, for like a minute and a half, just kind of knocking the ball around, moving Madrid side to side, and then the ball got to Fermin playing on the left wing. He took a dribble to his right, played a chip through ball to Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo was going away from the goal, both like side to side and like front to back in regards to the field. But somehow he knows that there's space in kind of the area that he just vacated. He's got Rudiger on his back. He jumps in the air with the inside of his right foot. He flicks the ball back the way that he came, perfectly in the stride of Ferran Torres, who takes maybe a touch and just fires it past Courtois for 2-0.
Wow.
It was unreal. And, this was in like the 25th-ish, 27th, something like that minute. And it was, I think it was in the 18th. I take that back. It was in the 18th because I remember we scored a goal between the 0 to 10 and the 10 to 20 minute markers. And so from that point on, we were just flying. but yeah, it was fun because Barcelona dominated the game. Real Madrid couldn't really get it a foot into the game. They started creating some chances in the second half after a fight broke out. You know, imagine that,
Mm-hmm.
where that kind of got Madrid going again. But the fight was literally the most fight they showed the entire game, was for that little stint where there was a little spat between Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Jude Bellingham, Gavi, Dani Olmo. You know, there was some Trent two-handed shoved Rafinha. Rafinha did a great acting job and fell down. Tensions got up a little bit, but that was the most
Mm-hmm.
fight they showed. Andy, they had one shot on goal the whole game. And it was a weak effort from Vinicius Jr. where he kind of kicked the ball into the ground and it rolled right to Joan Garcia. At one point, Jude Bellingham did put the ball in the back of the net, but he was offside along with 5 other Real Madrid players on a recycle back in after a corner.
And so they
But
were really just off it.
yeah, no, I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I didn't really like, this is kind of the game I was expecting though, after Real Madrid, everything that went up into this week. So listeners, for those of you who don't know, Andy, I'm guessing you do know what happened to Real Madrid leading up to this week. So in back-to-back practices, Fede Valverde and Tchouameni were going after each other, like going into hard challenges with each other. It sounded like Tchouameni started it. Fede Valverde wouldn't let it go. And after practice on the second day, there was a fight in the locker room, and somehow Fede Valverde hit the ground, cracked his head open, and had to go to the hospital. Got a traumatic brain injury, which is very serious, and had to be, from that point on, had to be on bed rest for 10 to 14 days. So he was literally knocked out of this competition. He's probably right now their best player too.
Yeah.
To me, he's kind of the Pedri of their team. He kind of makes them tick. He's the linchpin that everything goes through in that midfield. And to lose somebody like that to something as stupid as a locker room fight after 2 hard days of practice is stupid. Hilarious from a Barcelona perspective, but it's stupid. Like, grown men, grow up.
I think it just shows where like we talked about yesterday, it shows where the locker room is at, where they feel like they need to pick fights with their own teammates. Like, it's different of like calling out your teammates and then showing like, you know, hey, I'm not like giving up on certain things.
Yeah.
But at least like how this like went down with Tchouameni, at least from the video that you had sent me, what the video said was that Tchouameni had said like there was nothing ill-intentioned of that tackle.
Right.
It was just a hard tackle. And like if you have a problem with it, Valverde, like then you're kind of being soft in a way.
Yeah.
Or I got crunched. Okay.
Yeah. Or you have words and then you move on.
Right. You're a little upset. Sure. But then you're like, okay, move on. Wasn't intentional. Yeah, totally fine. You're playing and you're trying to play and get prepared for your biggest game in the season, because this will determine basically like if your season is a success or not. So why isn't Tchouameni allowed to crunch into tackles? That's my thought. Yeah.
And, you know, on top of that, Fede, you're not Mbappe. You're not the star player. You know, you're important, but you're not the star. 1.
Yeah.
2, you went home. You spent time with your family. You went to sleep. You woke up the next day and then started going into tackles. So this was something that was on your mind for an entire day.
Yeah.
24 straight hours.
Yeah, it's definitely meditated. It's definitely meditated that he wanted to do this beforehand, which is that's not the look. Like, you can't be doing that as a team. You cannot be doing that as a teammate, having that kind of that feeling there.
Yeah. So all that going into the game, I was just like, with all this going on, Barcelona has to win. Like, this is not a team. I mean, we've talked about Real Madrid not being a true team this entire year. But with everything that led up to it, this team is an absolute shambles. Nobody knows who the leader is. The leader, quote unquote, of the locker room, if it is Mbappe, is in Italy. He didn't even go to the game. You know, you got fights happening. You are showing no fight on the field. I mean, that's been kind of apparent over the last month or so with all the dropped points that you've had. And you just allowed Barcelona to win the title directly on you from an El Clásico, which, by the way, has never happened in history.
Oh, seriously, it's never been
there's
won.
never been a La Liga decided by a win in an El Clásico.
That's pretty crazy. I did not know that. That's
Yep.
oh wow. That is
That
pretty.
is
That
why
is very.
this
I think that is very historic. Like to
absolutely.
win against your biggest rival with the team you have the rivalry with because of how many league titles you've won. Wow, that's pretty. That's actually really interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yep. So that yeah, so that's kind of the history of it. One more fun fact of the day. Andy, you know Barcelona possesses the ball a lot. Because
So
of
they
that,
do.
Barcelona's goalkeeper has a decent number of passes in the game. Would you believe it? In two straight El Clásicos, so this one this past weekend, and then the El Clásico that was a Supercopa final earlier this year, Joan Garcia, Barcelona's goalkeeper, had more completed passes in both of those games than Jude Bellingham.
It's quite surprising, but I can believe it given the way they've been playing,
Yeah.
where that's just not it's not happening for them. Like if they're playing it long, like they're kind of bypassing him, that could be the issue there.
Yep. I'm amazed at somebody who, as good as he was a couple of years ago and how everything was going through him at Real Madrid, the fact that it's just not there anymore for him. It's just it's astounding to me. I mean, also like a midfielder to be outpassed by a goalkeeper is kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and I think again it shows again where what happens when you try to build a team of like the Galacticos or whatever,
Yep.
where you try to just build people that are just superstars in each of their areas. Then you tend to find the superstars like to all be in that left side channel because that's where Jude Bellingham likes to be. He
Yep.
wants to be in the left side channel too, making those runs. So you got Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., and Kylian Mbappe all wanting to be in the same area. How the heck are they going to have any space to actually do anything in that area? You
Yep.
know, that's something for like a manager or the team to kind of figure out of saying like, hey, someone's got to be sacrificing, because it kind of reminds me a bit of, how United got good was that Rooney had to make the sacrifice for Ronaldo, where Ronaldo, who would be kind of tracking back, doing all the extra defensive work, well, to allow Ronaldo to stay up and kind of threaten defenses there. It was Rooney. So Rooney took that away from his game for the good of the team. And look what they were able to win. Won a Champions League, won multiple Premier Leagues, da 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 da. So that's the hallmark of a good team. And like obviously if you have teammates fighting each other, they're not a hallmark of a good team. But all that to be said, this is for Barcelona for being a team sticking out this season with a lot of ups and downs, lots of injuries, and showing the consistency that we were concerned about back in October, where I thought like it could get away, and it didn't happen. You guys stuck together as a team, and the team won. It wasn't just players. It wasn't just Pedri. It wasn't just Rashford or Rafinha. It was the whole team. So that's gotta feel amazing.
Yep. Also, real quick before we move on to Manchester United, very interesting seeing the post game interaction between Olivia Rodrigo and Lamine Yamal.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that Olivia Rodrigo was donning some Barcelona gear.
Yep.
So that could be interesting.
So every El Clásico, Barcelona's sponsored by Spotify. So
Right.
a different Spotify artist is like the featured artist, and their album art for their new album is, or whatever logo the performer has or band has, is featured on the jersey. So Olivia Rodrigo was chosen as this special sponsor. And so she was at the game. Saw some really funny things that Olivia Rodrigo has won La Liga title and Kylian Mbappe has none.
Ha. That's really funny.
Yep.
Well, Lamine Yamal is young, and Olivia Rodrigo is, I think, young too. I think she got into this scene at 16, so she might be like 19 or 20 now. So kind of like Lamine. So I know he might not be seeing his partner anymore.
23.
She's 23. Okay.
Yep.
Is Lamine 23?
No, Lamine is 18, dude.
Oh, shoot. So he's way younger than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then,
yeah.
I don't know. Still young love.
I don't know. It was just interesting to see. Also, Lamine Yamal has 4 La Liga titles now, technically, and I think Ronaldo only won 3. Or he has three, and Ronaldo won. No, he has three, and Ronaldo won two in his entire time at Real Madrid, which is crazy.
Really, that's
Yep.
wild. But I think he's won like 4 Champions Leagues, 5 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. It's just crazy to think about, though.
Yeah,
and all the time
it
he was
is.
at Real Madrid, he only won 2 La Liga titles.
Right. Yeah, to win that many leagues, you'd feel like you would have won more. But hey, to each their own. He's out in Saudi right now, so could care less about him right now. But heading. So glad you had a great weekend for your season. Yeah, fantastic weekend, fantastic season. Because not maybe not fantastic season, but good season. Right, winning your league. So happy for that. United, Paul, on this end, had a pretty drab 0-0 draw. We rotated our squad a lot. And we were missing Sheshko. We were missing Casemiro. And maybe we were missing one other person. But we could kind of tell because in defense, next to Kabi Menu, we had Mason Mount. And
on
as
defense?
active as but defensive midfielder, yeah.
Huh.
He had the most defensive actions in the game, which is pretty telling. So like I could see why he was put there, but obviously that's not his position. He's a forward. He's more of a forward or an attacking mid more so than anything. So kind of playing him out of position made it kind of funky, and Sunderland were just able to press and really get after United with some people playing out of position and not comfortable in those positions, whether that's like receiving the ball or going in and being combative a way a midfielder can versus how maybe how like a forward could. So we were missing that. Xerxes up at the top instead of Sheshko, and Xerxes, like, I actually think Xerxes is a really good guy. Like, he seems to like get along with a lot of people on the team, friends with a lot of people on the team, seeing him in videos and things, and a lot of people like being with him, hanging out with him. But man, he's not a United caliber player. Like he's not able to hold the ball as well as he should. Mm-hmm. He can do neat, tidy touches, but he needs space to operate in, and like you're not afforded that space in the Premier League. So he couldn't hold the ball when we needed help with Sunderland's press, and that kind of showed. So offensively, not really much happening. Defensively, I think the big thing is Senna Lamens was absolutely immense. He made 2 incredible saves. One was a 1-on-1 that he saved. Another one was when I think Broby had broken through the line, and Broby was like gliding past Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire slid, which I think was interesting because in him sliding, he blocked off a certain part of the goal. Mm-hmm. And I think Senna Lamens read that and trusted that, and then went to the other side that Maguire couldn't defend, and ended up making the save. So those 2 saves there saved the match and saved us a point. There's maybe one chance and a half chance that we could have scored. I think there was one chance that Cunha could have scored. One chance that Xerxes should have been able to like pass into the box to get a cutback opportunity, but really not much there. So kind of a very drab game, but I think really the big takeaway is we see what we need for next year in our combativeness in midfield and our depth. We're like when we have our top-notch team, I think or our first choice team, we're pretty good and we can play certain ways, but we just don't have that depth. And you're going to need that depth to continue on the league.
I've got a nice little depth piece for you at midfield that I think we could send over from Barcelona.
Not the broken Dutchman, Frankie de Jong. He's broken. He's been broken. Hansi Flick has broken him. Xavi Alonso, not Xavi Alonso. Xavi's broken
Xavi
him.
Hernandez.
Yeah, Xavi Hernandez has broken him. He's
No,
broken. He's
I think he
broken, man.
broke. I think he broke himself. Honestly, I think
Probably did.
he was so hesitant in like getting back onto the field because he wanted to make sure he could play in the World Cup this summer. That I think he's really soured a lot of people in and around Barcelona. Personally,
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. And like to be fair, he has played I think a lot of games over the course of his career already.
Oh yeah,
like he's pretty young, so I
yeah.
get it. But yeah, that can shy it away. But hey, now he's got his La Liga title too. So overall, with 2 games left to go, vibes are all right. We're sticking in 3rd place. We're guaranteed Champions League next year. I think our big thing is you just want to get these next 2 games and get 2 wins and avoid having draws. Mostly for Michael Carrick's sake, so he can have a better chance at the job. And I'm kind of rooting for him in that. But
I would.
Well,
do you think he was the single, like if you had to pinpoint the single most important person, player, whatever you want to call it, for this season, would it be him?
I think so, because he really did give the platform. So like, given the team that we had, right? We had a team that is, I think what people don't realize is that, again, our best times that we've played is when we play more counter-attacking style, where we don't try to possess the ball. We try to hit you on the spaces. That feeds into Bruno Fernandes, that feeds into our forwards, that feeds into our defense and our defensive structure. So Carrick recognized that. It is kind of Carrick's style anyway to begin with, but him recognizing that to set that platform to then give it to the players, that's what you want in a manager. You want a manager who can come in to say, hey, this is how this team can play its best ball if we play in this way. I understand Ruben Amorim was trying to build something and another manager's kind of try to come in and build something, but the fact of the matter is United still need to get results in order to get there. So the best person who's been able to get results with this current team as it's building has been Michael Carrick throughout the course of two years. So for me, I think he should have the job. I think it just depends on how these last 2 games go. But I think it's a win for that. And I think that's what Ineos want, because Michael Carrick isn't going to really be able to go to Ineos and say, well, I want this sporting director and I want these like recruiters, because Michael Carrick kind of needs Ineos for his job and he needs to work in that system. So if they went to get like a Hansi Flick or a who else are they? Nagelsmann's going to be very specific and be like, I want this in order for us to function. And Ineos aren't going to want to do that. So that's my 2 cents. That is a 10-minute tirade. But yeah,
very good. Yeah, I'm really interested to kind of get into kind of the ins and outs of our team. Maybe posts this season, pre-World Cup, just because I think we both have a lot of ideas in mind of what our respective clubs need going into next year, and especially with Manchester United being back in the Champions League for the first time in a few years. I think it really puts an impetus on this summer with you guys trying to see success in the Champions League and us trying to as well. So I'm excited to kind of hear your thoughts as we get, in the future of what you think your club needs. And I'm excited to kind of share what I think Barcelona needs to do this upcoming summer.
Yeah. Cause I'd be curious too, just given where Barcelona were last year in the Champions League and, how it happened this year of theoretically based on paper coming up short this year as opposed to last year. But I'm of the opinion that like learning overall in a trend should be going up, but that doesn't mean it's a straight path. Like there's going to be herps and derps along the way. So we'll chat more about
derps.
I did say herps and derps. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we have the episode title.
Yeah. Did I stutter, Paul? Herps and derps.
No, I just want to make sure I heard you right.
Does it make sense? No, but I think I articulated it quite well. Quite well. So
Yeah. Before we do the vibe check, I just want to have a sad note for Frank and his hair. Set with the Manchester United draw, we're not going to see a haircut this season, and yeah, sad
still
for
should have
him.
done it. He should just go get the haircut. Like it's do it for him. I'm more concerned for his like employment because like at a certain point it's like, dude, this is just out of control. You
It's
can't do
so
this
out of
anymore.
control.
Yeah, like at some point it just needs to happen. So
Yep.
like just do it, man. Like I get the point, but like your job means more. Like having a job to be able to see United means more than, what do you say about United and in your fandom for that. So
Yep.
um but anyway, that's kind of the vibe happening there, Paul. So let's go to the Bundesliga. Big notes here are that Dortmund CF Eintracht Frankfurt to keep their spot in second. Stuttgart stomp on Leverkusen to maintain their pressure or to maintain their place in the top four. So what we have looking like is Dortmund with 67 points, I believe. But more importantly, they're still in second. RB Leipzig are in third, and Stuttgart are in fourth, but only a couple points away from securing, I think, that for the future. Bigger thing is what's happening in the bottom. So just found this out today. I guess there are playoffs for the Bundesliga,
Oh,
playoffs
interesting.
to stay in the Bundesliga.
Hmm.
So that would probably mean the bottom. I think it's the bottom. Some of the bottom 3 or 4 teams
Yeah.
that aren't already relegated. I think the two. I forget how it works because I know we had this for FC Cosenza, but essentially it's not just the bottom team.
Oh, okay.
It is the bottom few teams then have to find, and the winner gets to stay in.
Got it.
So, which is kind of funny because already the bottom three are all level on 26 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they all have one match to go in the playoffs. All of them are kind of probably looking forward to, if all of them are in it, looking forward to the playoff because that gives them a better shot now of one of them getting out as opposed to where they are now where any one of them can. So
Yep.
I think that's the case there.
Yep.
So that's what's happening in the Bundesliga, La Liga. It's all wrapped up. But Paul, I'll give it to you. You own Spain.
Sure.
What's the vibe there?
I don't really care about what's going on with the rest of the teams. I'm just so happy over the moon. Really cool seeing the parade celebrations today. One thing that Barcelona does extremely well as a city is show up for a parade, and it was bumping. Super fun to see. So, but yeah, so just real quick going through the other teams. Atletico Madrid lost again. They lost to Celta de Vigo 1-0. They're just in absolute shambles in the club or in the league. So Villarreal, they ended up drawing with Mallorca 1-1. So they keep their third place spot. And it looks like Real Betis is going to, I mean, not guarantee, but are in a really good place for keeping their Champions League spot alive as well. They got a draw and they played, give me 1 second here. They played Real Sociedad, drew 2-2. That's actually a really good result for them with how good Real Sociedad's been this year. So, but yeah, so that is kind of where the rest of the teams are. But in the battle for the bottom, my favorite new segment we do at this time of the year, Levante and Alaves are in the relegation zone with 36 and 37 points respectively. And then you still have all the way up to 13th place within 3 points of that bottom spot. Sevilla on 40, Elche 39, Mallorca 39, Espanyol 39. Espanyol has lost 4 of their last 5 with a draw in the middle. So they're definitely trending in the wrong direction. And Girona on 39 as well. So it's anybody's league to lose, or I guess top league spots to lose, I guess would be a better way of putting it. So that is where we're at in Spain. We only have, I think, 3 games left, if memory serves me right. Yeah, 3 games left. So we will see what happens in these next few weeks.
Well, it's going to be pretty nervy. So I could see seeing La Liga, just picking a team to see who if they can kind of get out from, to try to see if they can get out from the bottom. I
Mm-hmm.
think would be kind of a fun way to see the end of the season there.
Yep.
All right, so kind of some drama happening in Serie A,
Of course there is. It's the
where
Italians.
of course, this drama is not necessarily so much of like finger wagging and things, but it's more of results. So Napoli lost 2-3 to Bologna.
Mm.
What that means is their loss actually sets up a dramatic, I think, top four finish with 2 matches to go. So why I say that? Well, Roma won their match against Parma, I think 3-2. Juve won 1-0 over their opponent. So they got their 3 points that they needed to kind of keep up the pace. However, with Napoli dropping points, here's what the rest of the table looks like. Inter have already clinched. Napoli have 70 points. AC Milan have 60. Juve have 68 points. Milan has 67. Roma has 67. Como has 65. So, in 2 matches, Napoli could see themselves out of Europe entirely.
Yeah, it's
Milan
crazy.
could see, which would be great. Which would be a crazy fall from where they were last year in winning the Scudetto. So, I'm hoping they can stay up. I'm hoping Roma can stay up. Honestly, if it was Napoli, Juve, Roma rounding out the top four in Italy, I'd be incredibly happy for that. But still plenty of play for with 2 matches to go. So fingers crossed for that.
The interesting
Heading
thing
to
I'm seeing with this, Andy, is with Milan and Roma tied on points, Roma actually has a better goal differential.
Mhm.
So what do they use as the tiebreaker?
They might use head to head.
Yeah, which honestly I kind of like.
Mhm.
I get the goal differential thing, but like you played the teams twice in a season, head to head should be a part of it personally.
Yeah. I agree. I agree because I think after that, then going to go differential, I think is more fair because of the teams that you're facing and when you're kind of facing them, just as a personal preference thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how I kind of roll with that. In terms of the bottom battle, your favorite segment in the
My
past these
favorite.
next games. I think big news I have here is that Fiorentina, who had looked like they'd been struggling and might get relegated, they're safe. So a European former European juggernaut or blue blood is going to be safe. They're going to stay in Serie A. The big I think people that will definitely the big battle is between Cremonese and Lecce. Cremonese have 31 points. Lecce have 32 points.
Big dub by
Cagliari.
Cremonese over the weekend, by the way.
What's that?
Big dub by Cremonese over the weekend.
Big dub by Cremonese to make this a fight. Mm-hmm. So it's going to come down to how those two play in their next 2 matches. However, Cagliari, who is just above them, have 37 points. So there is the potential that I think it's Cremonese. I think it's Lecce. No, Lecce or Cremonese. Potential for Cagliari to get into that final seed. I didn't see the goal differential there, but it's not something to kind of be super safe in from what I saw. Mm-hmm. So we'll have that to play for. Heading into Serie C, so Serie C they've ended their season and have started their playoffs to get into Serie B. And so Cosenza faced Casarano. Could not have started better. Cosenza get off with an early goal within 5 minutes of the game starting. However, the game should have just ended there because in the next preceding 85 minutes, Cosenza gave up 5 unanswered goals. Ooh. And that's it for Cosenza. They are staying in Serie C, which makes me sad. But there's always next year. Always next year. Yeah. So gotta be near perfect in the league to jump up. So
did you see sorry, go ahead. Finish your
nope, I was good.
Did you see Venice? I think it's Venezia.
Yep.
with them being promoted to Serie A for the first time
Yeah.
in a while with the party on the canals that they had. I thought that was
Yeah.
so
Oh,
cool.
I thought that was so cool because I don't know if you've been to Venice on the canal there, but it
I
is
haven't
just like the
been.
main.
I've not been.
Oh, it's cool. It's a big highway, and it looks like as you see it in the celebration, it looks like that. So kind of getting out there on the boat, what a festive feel! Like kind of floating out. I imagine it's kind of like Bilbao when Bilbao was celebrating. It's kind of like that. Everyone just having a party on there, and yeah, it'll be fun to see them back in Serie A with their flair kind of coming through. Heading now, Paul, to the Premier League. Here's what's happening. Arsenal get a 1-0 victory over West Ham,
Oof.
controversially, because there is a scrum. How they got their go ahead goal, scrum in the box to get the corner.
Ugh.
Lots of elbows, lots of pulling and tugging. Not called. West Ham, near the end of end of the match, they get a corner. They had to do the rustling, tussling. They get a goal from that. However, VAR comes, calls it back. So lots to be frustrated with, especially with West Ham fighting for their life
Mm-hmm.
in the Premier League. So that is I think it's a big development. City with their game, they dispense of Brentford 3-0, which Brentford's a good side. So for them to just kind of romp on Brentford is I think a good sign for them heading into their game in hand, which is on Wednesday, and that could decide the league depending on how many points that they're able to get from there. Because right now Arsenal have two. Well, yeah, they'd be 2 points ahead of City win. So City need to win to maintain pressure, or
Yep.
to City need to win basically to guarantee that they can fight for the league at the last day. However, anything can happen, and they play Crystal Palace on Wednesday. So with now the bottom battle with West Ham's second loss in a row, Tottenham were able to draw against Leeds today, and that gets them out of the relegation zone, I think, by a point or two. So they are hanging in there. They're hanging in there. They're not relegated, but they're hanging in there. Um, so what that looks standing wise is Arsenal have 79 points, City have 74 with the game in hand. United third at 65, Liverpool with 59, then Villa with 59 as well. They've kind of gone off the deep end there. So Paul, what's going on in the Champions League, man?
Yeah. So we talked about Arsenal and Atletico Madrid last week since we potted after they had played. And then the next day, last week, Wednesday, was Bayern PSG. And after a 5-4 barn burner, in the third minute, Ousmane Dembele on a square ball played to him from Scalia. I'm butchering his name and I do apologize. He smashes the ball past Neuer and it's 1-0 PSG. PSG have a 2-goal advantage. And there are no goals in the game until the 90 plus fourth minute where Harry Kane finally gets an inch of space and smashes the ball past PSG's goalkeeper. And that tied it, but it was too little too late, unfortunately. So PSG end up moving on 6-5 on aggregate. I think there's some controversy, as there generally is in these kind of games. So in the first half, Vitinha had the ball in the box and he smashes a ball clear. João Neves is probably 5-8 feet in front of him, and Vitinha hits the ball straight at him. João Neves has his arm away from his body, pretty far away from his body, straight out, and the ball hits him in the arm. It's in the box. Bayern complains about it. Do I think a penalty could and probably should be called? Yeah, I do. Am I super upset about it? No, I'm not, because you could make the argument that it's a distance thing, but at the same time, I've seen less of a handball given before,
Mm-hmm.
to other teams. So I think Bayern fans, Bayern players do have a case for that 100%. I also think if you're a Bayern fan or a Bayern player, you had multiple chances in the regular run of play in that game to get at least a goal,
Yeah.
at least one, and you couldn't score one until Harry Kane clawed you back to have a chance at the very death of the game, the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing. You can complain about refereeing, and there are some times where it's very valid. And, at the same time, you have to go out there and play, and the good teams find a way to overcome refereeing decisions.
Yeah.
It's just the
Yeah.
reality of it. So, but yeah, so we are going to have a PSG Arsenal standoff. Andy, I think I know who you're going to be going for in this final. I think you know who I'm going to be going for in this final.
Mm-hmm. Are we on this? Are we on the same side?
We are not.
Wow. Okay.
I cannot stand PSG as an organization.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the organization side. I love Luis Enrique. I absolutely love him. And I think Kvaratskhelia is right now the best left winger in the world, personally. Yeah. I mean, he works extremely hard. He puts defenders on their heels constantly when he has the ball. He creates chances. I think he is, especially with how injury-ridden Rafinha was this year, I think he's the best left winger in the world right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'd agree there. And I think Ousmane Dembele on the right-hand side, he's also, I think you're happy to give his name as one of the best players, if not the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit of a nuance. I think he's been great in the Champions League, but something that I found out this past week is he has only started 9 games in Ligue 1. And that is because PSG is so dominant in that league, in a league where they have literally zero pressure from any other team, that they can just rest people at will, which honestly, I'm not going to fault PSG for. I'm going to fault Ligue 1 for that. But you can't fault PSG. Like, what do you want them to do? Create pressure in their own league? No, that's dumb. So, I think it is a little bit more of a nuance because of how little he has played in that league. It allows him to be super fresh for the Champions League. But again, I'm not going to fault him for that. That is a huge strategy. That's something that you kind of have to do in modern soccer.
Yeah.
They play so many games. You have to find places where you can rest and take some minutes off just to be able to be fresh for these big games. And I think it's really benefited him this year.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because, and I think he's struggled with some injuries too since he's come over to PSG from, I think it was Dortmund.
Barcelona.
Or from Barcelona, excuse me. That's right. Yep. So, I just kind of think from that too, I get it. But yeah, that's a very odd dynamic because, right, like if you're a PSG fan, if you can't go to the Champions League games, you'd at least want to see him play in Paris. So, yeah, it's a weird one. But again, like, that's something between him and the club and how they're managing it. So yeah, that does kind of put a weird asterisk kind of taste in your mouth there.
Yeah. Shout out to Luis Enrique. After their Ligue 1 game over the weekend, he came off the field and immediately he asked somebody on his staff, he was like, what happened in El Clásico? And the guy said 2-0, and Luis Enrique was like, yes.
Yep. Masculine club.
Yep. Oh man, I just loved it. Man, I miss him. But I'm really happy that he's having success, and I just wish he was at a club that was not PSG. Again, just the organization and who funds that club. But I mean, I'm super happy for him. I really am.
Yeah, he was on the short list for the United manager job, but he's signed a new long-term contract, so he's not going anywhere soon. So
I wouldn't. You have no pressure in the league. You are in a very good spot to challenge Champions League after Champions League for years to come.
Yeah, and he's got them working hard, and I think that's the big thing. Is this is a hard-working team. 100%. Dembele, like, this is a hard-working team, so that's why I'm going to be pulling for them. That's for sure. Because if it's a hardworking team.
Also because
compete.
of who they're playing.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I won't be able to be on like online. I'm not already online enough, or maybe, or not really online all that much, I should say. But now I could not even. I
I
couldn't
get
even
it.
look at my phone for about a month. I'd
I
like just
get it. If
so.
Atletico Madrid had beaten Arsenal, I would be in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway,
But
well,
we got to remember it was raining.
come on, Ty. It's raining for both teams. Fucking
Whenever we need
A.
to pick me up.
Whenever you need to pick me up, yep. See the smile. See it's happening. It's happening. But think about it. Then he's going to say everything's good, hunky dory. Him.
Here's the thing. I get it from your perspective. It doesn't affect me. I get
I
it.
know.
I get it.
I understand why you're doing that, but I just
Yep.
disagree. I just
It's
disagree
okay.
with it.
That's all right.
All right, heading to the super subs, super duds. Who do you got, Paul? We'll rattle them off.
So I'm actually going to start with my super dud first. I'm going to go with first off Real Madrid for everything that happened off the field / in practice leading up to this weekend, and then only generating one shot on goal the entire game. And the most fight you showed was in pushing battles, and that happened a couple of times during the game.
Mm-hmm.
I you have to have a super dud for that. The second super dud, and I don't know if you saw this, Andy, but Hansi Flick, the manager for Barcelona, he found out in the morning before El Clásico that his dad passed away,
Yeah, yeah.
and super sad. And I saw in an interview he was torn on whether he wanted to tell the team or not. I feel like he didn't want to distract the team from the task at hand, and ultimately I think made the right decision and decided to tell the team. And they had a moment of remembrance before the game with everybody, the crowd chanting his name, and his team picked him up. Man, they absolutely picked him up literally after the game, throwing him in the air, but figuratively as well. And I just think it shows how much he means to the club, how much he means to the fans, and how much they mean to him. And he
Yeah.
cited that in this post game interview. And it's tough, right? Whenever we sometimes forget that these players, that these managers are humans, that they have things going on off the pitch that
Mm-hmm.
ultimately are way more important than what happens on it. And I think fans lose sight of that sometimes, and we sometimes have to be reminded about that with things like this. So for the team, his staff, for the fans to pick him up after this very sad and very emotional time in his life, it was just really awesome to see. Again, like you mentioned, the Més que un club, that is Barcelona's kind of slogan, that it is more than a club. It really, really is. But it was really great to see, and I'm happy that he was able to have some joy on this day that had a lot of sadness for him.
Yeah, and I think it's tough too because I think speaking off your point of like that they're human is a lot of times in their roles, right? Like yes, they're paid a lot of money for the role that they do, and blah blah blah. Like they get to play a game for their profession, but also like they spend a lot of time away from their family. Like
Mm-hmm.
usually on holidays, like we're able to spend time with our loved ones. They're playing an extra game,
Mm-hmm.
So like I think we have to keep that in perspective, especially like when you're dealing with just even family when you're getting older. So especially for managers, I think it's really tough. So yeah, I think kudos to Barcelona, kudos to the players for seeing that and wanting to show the appreciation and show the respect for him knowing what
Yeah.
he's going through. So big up for them.
Yeah. So, super sub is just going to be Hansi Flick and the entire Barcelona team for that same reason.
Yeah,
Just again, seeing the outpouring of love for everybody involved, every part of the team, staff, and everybody was just awesome to see. The crowds lining the streets for the bus going through with the team and everybody else on it. Was just really, really awesome to see. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps, knowing that I feel like I'm a part of this club, right? Because of this atmosphere that they create, because of the outpouring of love the team shows for the fans and the fans back to them, vice versa, is just amazing. It's just
Yeah.
amazing to see.
Hey, it's why we fell in love with the game, man.
Yep.
It's when you find your club, you find your home kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's that
Absolutely.
home away from home when you get to watch it on television. So it's really cool that happens. So congratulations again, Paul, for Barcelona and their victory there. I'll start with dud. I know we talked about the Valverde Tchouameni thing. For me, it's kind of the big dud because I think this brings up questions now if United want to pursue Tchouameni just because he's been in an altercation.
Yeah.
What role did he play? You don't really know.
Right.
Don't know how that goes. Could be a very good thing. I mean, we had one of our favorite players kung fu kicked a fan. You know,
who was that?
Eric Cantona.
Oh,
and I mean, kung fu kick. It is kung fu kick. I showed Bridget it, and she was like, "Oh no, like you meant like just kung fu kick." And then I showed it to her, and it was a kung fu kick.
Yep.
Like this wasn't just like a little like, oh, he just like kicked at someone. It's like, no, he flew into the stands, kung fu karate, like everybody's kung fu fighting into a fan.
Yeah. One thing I will say is I think Bruno Fernandes could take Tchouameni in a fight.
Yeah,
Bruno
Fernandes. I'd be scared. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be scared going out to Fernandes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I think Fernandes would encourage that out of Tchouameni. I think that's the difference between that and Valverde. Fernandes would be like, no, you got to go in harder.
Yeah.
For those challenges. Any case. Also thinking for Bayern, because I was pulling for Bayern to kind of overtake PSG.
Yep.
Because I would have loved it to have seen Harry Kane go up against Arsenal and just thrash a hat trick against them.
Yep.
But wasn't meant to be. Not this year.
Not this year.
So Supersub, I'll say, is kind of this crazy name, Devyne Rensch. He's a defender for AS Roma.
Wait, that's the pronunciation of this?
I think so. I think that's the only one that makes sense to me. Divine, yeah.
I see
Devyne. It could be Devyne. Could be Devyne Rensch. Sounds Germanic. So his go-ahead goal in like the, I think 90th plus 11th minute. No. I'm sorry. He had the tying goal, which was in the 90th, I think, plus 4th minute. Roma was able to win then on a penalty that was given to them in the 90th plus 8th minute to seal the deal against Parma, which is kind of just a crazy, crazy match.
Yep.
So in any case, that's how I'm going to give it to the super sub there because Devyne came on the second half, got that tying goal to build that platform for AS Roma. So there you have it, everybody. That's been our podcast for today. So again, want to congratulate Paul on Barcelona's winning of the La Liga title this year. Honestly, like this is kind of the fun part about the podcast is then being able to celebrate with your friends, and couldn't celebrate it in any better way than just having Paul have the floor to talk about his love for Barcelona, especially this team, just in what they've been through this year.
Yep.
We'll be back next week to still talk about United, still talk about what's happening in the bottom tables. Yep, FA Cup final and the like. And yeah, we'll still have some matches to get to you there. But until then, I have been Andy, Paul has been Paul, and with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.